Hey there, this is Real Talk Baseball. I'm Carlos Baseball. With me as always is Will Power and Tony Snap for the special edition of Fantasy Baseball. So we already gave you our top three in the last video. We're going to go ahead and give you our comeback, sleeper, and our bust. So with that said, let's just go ahead and start this show. And Tony, give me your comeback for Fantasy Baseball.
My comeback for Fantasy Baseball, I don't know if Will agree or not, but
probably not.
But I think he's a good candidate. Would be Chris Bryant. I picked him just because they're pretty much writing him off, and I feel like just a few seasons ago, he was probably in the talks of like top 15, top 30, definitely top 50. Right now, currently, ESPN has him as an average draft pick as like 154, I think, or something like that, which is really low. And I feel like if he can stay healthy, he would be a great candidate for a comeback. And especially going in the later rounds, you can even consider him a sleeper almost, because I feel like he is a 25-30 run home run hitter.
Okay. And it sucks that they have him that low. They've been talking about trading him since 2017. It takes a toll on a player hearing your team wants to get rid of you. So I've heard a lot of things about Chris Bryant that they said that he wasn't happy playing baseball, but it was really taken out of context for him, man. It was just saying, he was trying to say that maybe I just need to step up my game and be a little bit better and improve my hitting and improve my fielding. Not necessarily saying that he was tired of playing the game, but hearing that you're going to get traded off, it kind of does take something into a player and it messes with your playing, right? And it sucks for him. It sucks for him and the plays that he is right now. He won the World Series in 2016 with the Cubs. That's a big accomplishment. And
MVP that year also, right?
Was it MVP as well?
Yeah.
I think he won the MVP in 2016 also.
Yeah, and it was only his second season.
Yeah. Exactly.
Oh, damn. Rookie of the year.
He was the MVP. So yeah, it's people writing them off. It sucks. Hopefully like he does come back and he's a good guy. He's not a bad guy. He's fantasy baseball aside, he's a good player. He's a good third baseman. I'm surprised that like they're writing them super low. Why are they writing them super low? What round is he going in, Tony?
He's going in round, let's see, they have him average draft pick 146. So he'll be going like around round 13, round 12. Okay. Which is to me, to me, he has the capability of being a top 50 player. A former Rookie of the Year, MVP during the World Series the World Series year, which was 2016. So he was an all-star in 2019. I honestly feel like he is much better than what a lot of people are projecting him to be hitting. They're only expecting about 18 home runs from him. I'm expecting about 25 from him. That's really around his let's see. His rookie year, he had 25. The following year, when he was MVP, he had 39, and then 29. He had a pretty bad season, I guess, maybe in his standards. Yeah. Because they expect so much from him. He had 13 home runs in 2018 with an average of batting average of 272. But still, that's pretty good,
That season, he only played 102 games, though.
Yeah. So he didn't play the whole 162 that season, which is not that bad. It's if you're looking at it, the injury might have been the thing that kind of like set him back a little bit, right? Because you're looking at the 2019 and he played 147, and that's what you see. Yeah, he's still young, and his batting average was up there, was a 282. That's not a bad batting average. Yeah. Right. So then
what kind of injury did he have
on the 2018? I really don't remember what.
Yeah, I want to say like back issues or shoulder, or one of the two.
See, and that's what I was gonna say. If it has something to do with the shoulder or the wrist or something like that, that loses a lot of the pop in these hitters. We saw that with Justin Turner when he got hit on the wrist with that wild pitch. He was out for a couple of weeks, but even when he came back, he still had a decent batting average. He was putting the wood on the ball, but he lost his power stroke, you know?
Yeah.
So it really does damper the power production a lot. So
well, he only had 4
Tony, I think he had a great pick. I think this is an amazing pick, actually.
Yeah, it is amazing pick.
Hey!
Yeah, we should give
will agree with me, guys.
Yeah, we should throw a party. I like your pick, Tony. It could be a really good comeback. Will, do you? I mean, you said you just agreed with him, but is that the same comeback you have, or you have a different?
I really like that pick. I didn't even think about that as a comeback. Actually, for my comeback, I picked Alex Bregman.
Bregman.
Just like I have him in my top 3 rankings, I think that last year he suffered too much from the mental aspect of the game, from the crowd heckling, riding into.
Wait! There was no fans in the stands though. What's going on with that?
Yeah, but when you're going into
the media's still there though.
Away stadiums, when they were coming on the bus, we saw videos of random fans just being outside the bus and just heckling them as they're coming in.
And we thank you for it.
Yeah, we thank you for it, but there was no fans in the stand, so I don't know, man. I don't agree with that one. I don't agree. Yeah, no, I don't agree with that because there's no fans in the stands.
This guy had to be super embarrassed to be caught like that, right? All of them were, except for Correa. Correa is the only one that actually has like that attitude, like I don't care what you guys say, I'm good no matter what, blah blah blah. But Alex Bregman, you can tell like he stayed quiet all the time.
Yeah,
Altuve stayed quiet all the time.
They look really uncomfortable.
These are the guys that most likely felt like legitimate like guilt about taking part of this scandal from 2017 and maybe 2018, 2019. But I think
like, let me sneak that in there.
Actually, yeah.
He just had a really down year, man. A 242 batting average when his career is 283. Only had 6 home runs, and the season before he had 41. In a regular season, 156 games. So I really think that this guy is primed to make a huge comeback. I think he finally got those jitters out of the way from the season after the whistle was blown. And I think he's going to come back stronger next season.
Damn. Well, that's a really big, that's a really big comeback. And we talked about it in our previous show, right? He's a good player and everything. It's just there was no fans in the stands, and he needs to step up and giddy up. This is your season. You got to do it. Step up. And I've said that about all the Astros players.
Yeah, I think you could put any Astro player as a comeback player. Yeah, I've had Altuve and Correa as comeback players the past episodes. And I just feel like they have a lot to prove to. Not just like the fans, but just to themselves as well, because they know they cheated. They know. So, I mean,
yeah, you guys vouch for them. You guys got your Dodger cards taken away from that. So, so yeah, man, I guess you guys, I mean, yeah, it's fantasy baseball. So,
yeah, we don't put feelings into it, man.
Yeah, man, money's more important, right?
Yeah. So you gotta do what you gotta do. Like, Will, you hit something that kind of like remind me when Joe Kelly was gonna hit Bregman. He didn't say a word. He just like looked at the camera, was like, man, like he made that.
That's another point that I was gonna make. That during the regular season, these guys were scared that the pitchers were just gonna beat them almost every single at bat. I'm sure they were like, shaken that they were going to get an inside pitch and it was just going to hit them, and then they were going to get injured, be out for a little while, be out for the whole season. Who knew until the playoffs started, because you're not going to intentionally hit someone during the playoffs. You're going to ruin your chances to win that series. But during the regular season, there's a lot of pitchers that could have been gunning for these guys. It didn't happen as much as I thought it was going to happen, as much as a lot of people thought it was going to happen. Bregman did get thrown at by Joe Kelly, maybe thrown at. It got close, but Joe Kelly said that he did it on purpose, that he threw over him. Joe Kelly can get wild, though, so you never know with that guy. He broke his own window in his house when he was pitching in the offseason. Remember that?
Well, Joe Kelly's known for doing that, though. He did that against the Dodgers when he was with the Cardinals. He hit Hanley Ramirez in the ribs and broke his ribs. And remember, Hanley Ramirez was super hot that playoff run, and he disabled him. So then he had another fight with the Red Sox. I can't remember who it was that he beamed. So this guy has a record. That's good that the Dodgers have him on the corner. So I love that. I love that.
Go Philly Fight Club.
Yeah. So I know Tony's going to take exception to this. I love that when he threw that curveball and struck out Correa and he made that face and I'm like, yeah, what are you looking at? You're kind of like that.
Take exception.
Yeah, because you love Correa, dude.
Oh my God.
Your boy. That's your comeback, right? Or your sleeper. I forgot what it is.
Oh my God.
That's
you know what?
boy.
I'm never going to put any Houston player.
For those of you that are seeing this show, Tony's a Correa lover. So
no, not even close. Don't let him fool you.
All right, so we have the comeback player. So can we move on to the sleeper, or you guys want to add more to this?
Please.
Anything but the Astros, right, Tony? All right. Will, give me your sleeper, man. Give me a good sleeper that I can go ahead and keep in my head. So when I go ahead and make that pick, I'm like, yeah, no one else knows about this pick but me. Go ahead.
After I heard Tony's comeback player, I kind of wanted to switch my sleeper to Chris Bryant just because he's going so late. Yeah. But, since I didn't have him on my list already, I'm just going to go with my original thought. And that's Eugenio Suarez from the Cincinnati Reds.
Yeah.
He had a really down season this past 2020. He, 202 batting average. He did still have his pop, though. He hit 15 home runs. And in a really shortened season, I think the league leader was Luke Voigt with 21. So he only had 6 less home runs than the league leader. And I think the National League had Marcelo Osuna hitting 17 or 18. So that was still only a couple behind the National League leader. So this guy has some really good pop. Cincinnati Reds don't have the best lineup, so it's a little harder for him to get the RBIs and the runs compared to all these other guys. But he's going 85 overall, which is the 7th round. For the guy that hit 49 home runs in 2019, I think that's extremely late because home runs are super valuable in fantasy baseball. Yeah. So a guy that's going to hit close to 50 home runs, I think that round 7 is just a little too late for that guy. I'd say more like a round 5. So I'm giving you as my sleeper just because he's going a little bit too late.
A little bit too late than what you expected for him, right?
Well, then where I would draft him at.
Okay, I got you. And he is playing in Cincinnati, and Cincinnati's one of those stadiums that the ball flies too. Like it's a small stadium. And
he's also in the Central, and the Central, he's going to play against his own division a lot more than he is interleague play. So he's going to be able to hit against a lot of the National League Central pitchers, which they don't really have the best pitchers. I mean, you got Jack Flaherty, a couple other guys, kind of, Brandon Woodruff, but majority of the pitchers in the National League Central aren't too great.
And I see his RBIs like the last 2 seasons before the 2020 season. He's in the over the 100 mark, which is really, really, really good. It's nothing to look over to say, oh, he's not really that good. He had 34 home runs in 2018, and then 2019 he had 49 home runs. And you're looking at RBIs, right? They're almost equal. He had 104 and then 103 in 2019, which is something you want to look for if it's a points league and in categories league as well, right, Will?
Yeah. I mean, the only thing he really suffered in last season compared to previous seasons was his batting average. But the year before, he had 271. The year before that, 283, 260. 2016, he had 248, which was, I want to say it was the lowest of his career for, a complete season. But I think that, just showing from the last 2 seasons, 2018, 2019, I think he's closer to like a 275-ish type of hitter, not the 202 that we saw from the 60-game season.
And I like it too. Like in the 7 years that he's played, and you're not counting the 2014, 2015 because it wasn't a full season. But if we have to include it, he's at 261, which is not bad. It's not a bad pick. It's not a bad sleeper. And you're saying that he might go in the. You saying that he's going in the 7th round? You said, Will?
He's going in the 7th round.
I thought we were doing comebacks.
Oh no, this is.
No, we did come back already.
We did come back already, man. Wake up, Tony.
Who's what?
Chris Bryant and who was your pick, Tony? Will?
Bregman.
Bregman.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Wake up, Tony. Wake up. Come on, man. As you can see, we're not even like editing anything now. We're just letting it raw.
Raw footage.
Raw footage, man. Yeah, dude. I like that pick. Tony, who do you have as your sleeper? Oh, actually, no. Do you agree with this sleeper right here?
Yeah, I do agree with him. He is more of a 35 home run hitter. Going in the later rounds, in like the 8th, 7th round, I think he is a steal. Especially with the third base position, I feel like it's really scarce as to like elite or power hitters at third base. For some reason, when I was looking through this, I was having a really hard time deciding as to who, and even when I do like mock drafts, I always feel like I'm like a step behind on my third baseman. Like I wish I could do better sometimes.
Yeah.
So I agree with him because just the raw power that he has.
Okay.
So, yeah.
You also said that he hits like 30 to 35 home runs a season. His 162 game average is actually 41. So
wow,
that's a little bit more than like an Arenado, who has the batting average, but you're going to get a little more power production from Suarez.
But you also get more strikeouts from Suarez than you would from Arenado.
That's true.
Yeah, and that 2019 he got 189 strikeouts.
189, that's bad, man.
That's the highest he's had all his career, and that's really bad.
And it's pretty high if you look at it.
That's more than a strikeout per game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's
more.
But
when you're hitting 40 home runs, I mean,
it's gonna happen.
I can look past that,
Yeah.
Yeah, you can.
But yeah, I agree with Will.
And you like that sleeper? Is that the same sleeper you got, or you got a different one?
No. For my sleeper, I went with someone a little more consistent. Maybe he's on a little bit of a more fantasy owners' radar, just because he had, I guess you would say, a breakout season. Maybe the last 2 years.
Uh-huh.
It's Kyle Seeger. Yeah, I think he's my sleeper just because he's so consistent. He's always hitting about 20, 25 home runs. His batting average is always really, really decent to me. Like he's overall, he's been in the season for 10 years, so his age might be up there. But, I mean, you can say that about Turner, too. And I think he's a great sleeper, too, just because they're going late in the rounds. But I feel like everybody's as former world champions, they're going to be looking at Turner a lot sooner than they might be looking at Kyle Seeger. And just last year, he ended up being in the top 5 third basemen. So just because of where he's going in, let's see.
So Kyle Seeger was top 5 third basemen?
Last year. I mean,
really?
If you want to count it.
No. But that's a good stat to have. You still have to look at it because he
was
top 5,
4th. He was right behind. So last year it was Jose Ramirez, Manny Machado, LeMahieu, and then Kyle Seeger.
Okay.
So he did. Last year he did better than Rendon and Arenado. We know that Arenado had a pretty bad season last year, but the reason I picked up Kyle Seeger as my sleeper is because he's going in round 14, round 13.
Yeah.
And I feel like his consistency and average power is a pretty good value at that round.
Yeah, and I see his home runs are between the 20, 30 mark, let's say 20 to 27 mark home runs a season. And then you're looking on base percentage, like career is 326. You're looking at walks, you're looking at strikeout. I mean, not strikeouts. You're looking at walks, singles, doubles, and they're pretty up there. Just because the power, the batting average is not there doesn't mean that he's not a good pick.
Yeah, he's an above average player.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, and I'm seeing that those stats, and they're pretty good. Like, I think that's a good pick. But why not just pick him to one of your top 5? He's not a top 5 third baseman.
No.
Not hitting wise, not for fantasy.
Especially when you have guys like Machado, you have Arenado, Bregman, Ramirez. These guys are hitting 30 plus home runs.
Okay. But he is a sleeper then.
Yeah, he's definitely a sleeper, especially going in round 13. I feel like his production value is definitely consistent enough to warrant even maybe a top 100 player,
Okay.
but he's going at like 150, 160. To me, his consistency overall just gives me a lot of value. So I would definitely consider him a sleeper just because he's so consistent. He's going to get you probably like 4 points a day, probably 20 points a week, and which is really good. I mean,
yeah.
I'll take that. I'll take that round 13. Yeah, no problem.
That, Will?
No, I do not agree. There was a couple seasons that Kyle Seeger, I wanted him on my team, but it hasn't been that way for, I want to say, like the past like 5 years. He did have some pretty good pop. I want to say, when was it? 30 home runs in 2016, so 5 years ago. 30 home runs, 27 home runs, and then it kind of dropped a little bit, went down to 22 and then 23. Last season he hit 9 and he played all 60 games. So 9 home runs in a 60 game season. I haven't really followed too much of his career to know if he's like a late starter or he's just very inconsistent when it comes to just the beginning of the season or whatever. I don't know, man. I don't want this guy on my team. And I understand why Tony would have him as a sleeper, and maybe if he gets on a little hot streak, I would pick him up just to kind of ride the hot streak, depending on who I had at my third base or infield position. But he is going pretty late overall, but I just don't trust this guy. Yeah. And he could be a sleeper. Anyone could be a sleeper because, if they're going in the late rounds and they start producing, that's what's considered a sleeper. But I don't like this guy. I don't think that I would ever have him on my team again. I'd rather have his brother.
Oh, of course.
Man, that sounded like it was.
But see, look, I'm not saying he should be your third baseman. He should be your corner infielder. And that is a great sleep. Dude, the way I play my fantasy team is I want to put players in there that are going to produce and I don't have to worry about. I don't want just someone that's going to play every day and is going to contribute to what I already know they're going to do. And I feel like he's going to be a great corner infielder guy. And going in round 13, dude, just set him and forget him. That's it.
Yeah.
Headshot.
I see where he's going. He's ranked like 230 overall. And honestly, like I see some guys that are even going later than him, like John Birdie from Miami, Austin Riley.
Yeah, who is that? Exactly.
Like honestly, I'd rather have those guys than
Riley. Riley strikes out way too much, bro.
He does, but he's so young. I think that just because of, like you say, his surrounding cast, I think there's no way that he's going to get worse. He's just going to continue to get better, especially with like consistent playing time. He hasn't played a full season yet. He's just kind of like a backup, like wherever for whatever player that they need, because he can play so many different positions. I think if he's
eligible at third base and outfield. Don't forget, guys.
I think the thing that's in Kyle Seeger's advantage is because he plays pretty much every single game. Yeah. That's really where the production is going to come from, because you're not really going to miss out on if he has a day off or whatever. If there's a lot of leagues out there that have weekly lineups where you just slot the guy in and you can't change it again until after all the games are done on Sunday. I don't personally play in those leagues. I like daily lineups, but he's definitely a good guy to have in as your weekly lineup guy, just because you don't have to worry about him not playing one day. I think the only reason why he wouldn't play is just if he gets hurt or something like that. But
hey,
another thing too is the Seattle Mariners, because they're American League. We don't know if the National League's going to have DH next season, but they could have him at third base. They could have him DH a couple days, try to keep him healthy. So that's a kind of a big help also.
And also, don't forget, Will, that he's over that 32-year mark, man. So
exactly.
I know you've been preaching that all throughout the fantasy baseball edition. So I know you've been saying, oh man, after the 32 year, they start declining. So he's going to go into the
he's
33.
hitting his age 33 season next season. So
that's something to look at. Hopefully it doesn't drop off completely. I just,
and I always say also, like 28 is when they start getting their man strength. And his age 28 season, he had 30 home runs, which was the most he's had out of any season. And then he had 27 the year after, and then 22, and then 23. So now you can see kind of a little decline as he's getting a little bit older. Once he hit like 31, and then 32, and then now 33.
Yeah,
I don't see much production coming from him.
Boo! Exactly. When he ended up fucking top 5.
I'm sorry, man. It's just I'm just older, and I hope I don't lose my man strength. If you guys have nothing else to say about these sleepers, let's go ahead and move on to the bust. I know I want to hear you guys' bust, and hopefully it's one of you guys' top 3, like the previous shows, like we've had. You guys didn't like your bust, and let me hear it. Go ahead, Will. Did you go first? Go ahead, Will. Go ahead. Just give me your bust, man. Sorry.
I think that Tony and I are going to agree on this one. I don't know who he has as his pick, but I'm going to go Jose Ramirez, man.
Yeah.
I don't think that Jose Ramirez deserves to be a round 1 pick.
I don't like it. I don't like it.
Early. If he had second base eligibility still, like he did a couple seasons ago, that would make his value go a little bit higher. But still, I really wouldn't warrant him like a first round pick. There was a couple seasons ago, he had in 2016 and 2017, he went 312 and 318 batting average, a 957 OPS in 2017 with 29 home runs and 17 stolen bases. So the stolen bases, it's really valuable for him because he hits just as many home runs as he does steal bases, right?
Yeah,
so I think that's where his value really comes from, because he has power and speed, which is really rare in today's game. A lot of times, the guys that are hitting 30 home runs aren't really going to steal bases. So it's rare that you see that. I think that's where a lot of people are getting the value from. But still, man, round 1, I think it's way too early for this guy, especially because he was such a bust back in 2019. The year before, he had 270. Towards the end of the season, I remember I had this guy, and he's the reason why I lost my league. He got so bad that season, man. Towards the end of the season, he just fell apart. I want to say he batted like under 200 like the last month of the season, and that's playoffs. The regular season in regular baseball is playoff season for fantasy baseball. And if you don't have your top guys, like I want to say he was like my number 3 or 4 pick, overall pick. I
probably
think I
3, because I actually had him in 2019 as well. And I, like you said in the past, there's been some players that kind of leave a bad taste in your mouth. Yeah. Jose Ramirez is that guy to me. Yeah. I had him in 2019. I want to say you probably picked him up round 2, round 3, because I kind of remember he probably was going around round 2, and I feel like I did pick him up. I felt like I was just like, he's a decent pick. He's got power, and maybe he is the reason he's going number 1 overall at third base is probably because of his projections at stealing bases. I mean, I just looked at that and I was just like, you know what? That's not a bad idea if you're playing in categories leagues.
Yeah.
Someone that can hit you 30 home runs and steal you about 20 plus bags, that's pretty decent.
It is very valuable, but I'd still rather have Arenado that's going to hit closer to 40 home runs,
So you guys are saying that his draft pick position right now, where he's ranked, is too low. It should be a little bit higher.
I think he should switch
high
with Arenado.
It's too high. I'm sorry, too high.
I think he should switch with Arenado. Arenado is going number 30 overall, and Jose Ramirez like in the middle to late round 1. I think that should be the exact opposite. I think that Arenado should be like late round 1, and Jose Ramirez should be like early round 3.
Look, if I'm playing, well, I do play fantasy baseball, but if I'm looking at it, I never get the number 1 through, let's say, I probably get the last picks of the round, right? So I'm looking at this. I can probably pick them up maybe round 3, right? And that will be my top choice if it's round 3. Is that a good pick?
Yeah. Yeah,
Is it?
I think so. Just because of what he's done, I would much rather have him at round 3. The only reason me and Will probably have him as our bust is because he's going round 1, and he's going 5 overall, which
and
is
with the Cleveland Indians team that just
got rid of.
They just got rid of Lindor. So how can you project this guy to be the number 1 third baseman when he's not going to get the RBIs that he usually does?
Right.
I honestly don't know why they have him at number 5. I know, depending on where you're at on your list, not list, but depending on what your draft is at, like, I think that's where you have to look at it. But overall 5, I don't think he's that good. I think he is a good third baseman. I think it's like I would have him on my top 5 for sure, on my top 5 third basemen, because I do see the numbers, and the numbers are there for me. He's at 2 career batting average, and his stolen bases are there too. His home runs, they're kind of like it's not that bad, but he is with the Cleveland Indians. His cast around him is not there. They just traded off Lindor, like you just said, but it's not a bad pick. It's not a bad pick if he goes in the 3rd or 4th round, right?
It's a good pickup.
It's
third
a good
round
pickup.
is good. Third round is perfect for that guy.
Yeah, and maybe it will change as the time goes by, because Tony, weren't you saying about the mock drafts are going to do something to where the experts are going to change?
Eventually, once a lot more people start doing mock drafts, eventually the positions are going to start changing, because they're going to take into account what we're looking at as well, as to what average draft pick they're going to be going. There must be a lot of Cleveland fans right now just doing mock drafts because of him going up top number 5 makes no sense to me. The only reason maybe was if he's in the categories league, because someone that is pretty good. I like Will mentioned the stolen bases. I wasn't even looking at that. I didn't even see him as somebody that steals bases.
Well, because in a points league, a stolen base is only 1 point.
Yeah.
And if he's going to steal 20 bases throughout the season, that's only 20 points spread out throughout the whole season. It's not that, big of a deal. But he's the type of guy that can win the category for you.
Yeah, he can.
In a categories league.
Well, we reached the end of the show. Thank you guys for listening. Tune in for the next show that we're going to be talking about outfielders, and we're going to give you our top 3 sleeper, comeback, and the bust, like always. And if you guys do want to follow us on other social media platforms, we do have an Instagram, we have a Twitter account, we have a TikTok, and we just added a new channel, or actually not a channel, we just subscribed into Spotify. If you guys want to go ahead and do that for us and subscribe or follow there, we would deeply appreciate it. And if you guys have any questions, we do have an email. It's realtalkbaseball@yahoo.com. I'm Carlos Baseball. This is Willpower and Tony Snap. Signing out.